Have you ever wondered why you struggle to open up, even with people you care about? Why it feels easier to stay busy, joke about your feelings, or shut down completely? Emotional unavailability often hides behind independence, perfectionism, or even humor. Today, we're unpacking why we shut down and how to start healing. What emotional unavailability looks like. It might look like avoiding deep conversations, keeping relationships on a surface level, or feeling uncomfortable when someone else opens up to you. Sometimes it's not about coldness, it's about self-protection. And I can definitely relate to this. I was definitely emotionally unavailable until I went to therapy. And and I would always, I was transparent, but I wasn't vulnerable. So I would always keep things on certain, on a surface level, and I felt very uncomfortable sharing my feelings. So I would avoid deep conversations, like with laughter, or just avoid it altogether, and redirect the conversation. Common reasons we shut down. For some, it's fear of rejection. If I don't open up, then I can't be hurt. I'm sorry. For others, it's learned behavior. Maybe you grew up in a home where no one talked about their feelings. So you learned to survive by staying silent. And that was definitely me. Like, I grew up in a home where we didn't talk about feelings. We didn't talk about emotions. We didn't talk about a lot of things. Like, we didn't get deep into the nitty-gritty stuff. Like, we didn't talk about sex. We didn't talk about a lot of things. And a lot of that came from just growing up in church all of my life. So, having that background, but also just, we just didn't talk about deep things like that growing up. Or maybe you were taught to be strong, to hold it all together. And somewhere along the way, you believe that feelings equals weakness. And that's true too. Like, if you were raised to, not cry, oh, you're not crying, you're so tough, that's great, but that develops emotional unavailability. Childhood patterns that shape emotional walls. Many of us were praised for independence, but not emotional expression. Maybe you were told, wow, you're so strong, you never cry, you never complain. That independence was celebrated, but feelings were dismissed. I can't begin to tell you how I saw feelings dismissed growing up. And I don't blame anyone in my family for it. That's how they were raised, so they did the best that they could. But I've also seen it, with my friends and in different other relationships too, where, your caretakers dismiss your feelings. You got applause for holding it together, but not for opening up. So as adults, we keep performing strength while hiding our hurt. And so, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and that's one thing that we are stressing to her. Like, we have what we call the circle of trust. And we tell her, in this circle, you can express your feelings, you can express your emotions, like, and you will not be judged. Like, this is a safe space for you. How past relationships impact emotional safety. Trauma reinforces these walls. If you've been betrayed, abandoned, or shamed in the past, your mind builds emotional armor to say that will never happen again. How many of y'all can relate? That was definitely me. I experienced abandonment and trauma, in my in the past, and so that feeling comes back to you. And when you feel that feeling, in relationships, you're like, nope, I'm not opening up. That ain't gonna happen to me again. I remember. Your brain and your body remembers. Each painful experience whispers, closeness equals danger. So distance feels safer even when you crave connection. So, each painful experience whispers like, no, closeness equals danger. I can't do that. I can't be vulnerable. And so that's how past relationships impact emotional safety. Signs you might be emotionally unavailable. You might avoid conflict or disappear when things get hard, not because you don't care, but because hard conversations feel like conflict equals rejection. Conflict equals rejections. So silence feels safer than risking the relationship. So you remain silent to avoid the conflict because you don't want to lose the relationship, because you don't want to feel that abandonment. People have left you in your life, so you rather be silent and keep the relationship. Maybe you over-focus on work, hobbies, or businesses to avoid emotional closeness. Can you guys relate to that? Like where you keep yourself busy so you can avoid that emotional closeness. Or you struggle to say simple things like, I love you, or I need help. I know for me, like I would be in the house with my friends, or when I first got married, I would be in the house with my husband and I would hibernate to another room because that felt emotionally safe to me. And so I would be in the room for hours and he would come in and say, what are you doing? Like, come out here with me. But it felt emotionally safe because I didn't want to have conflict, because like I said earlier, conflict equals rejection in my head. The cost of staying closed off. Every time we stay silent about what we feel, we miss opportunities for intimacy. We lose moments where connections could have grown. Walls protect us from pain, but they also block love, support, and closeness from coming in. You can end up lonely even in a room full of people who love you because they don't actually know you. That's deep, right? So how many of you have been in a room and you felt alone? And that's because you have been closed off. It's not because of the people in the room. It's because you've been closed off. And so, you're in a room full of people who love you, but because you've been closed off, like you feel lonely and empty in that room. How to start healing emotionally. Healing starts small. Therapy or counseling can unpack old wounds safely. I went to therapy. I still go to therapy, and it helps me tremendously. Journaling is powerful when words are too heavy to say out loud. So if you're not ready to talk to a therapist yet, journal to get those things out that you need to say. And practicing vulnerability in tiny, safe steps matters. Like telling a friend, today was harder than I expected, instead of pretending that you're fine. Steps to rebuild trust and openness. Let people in slowly. Share a little, see how they respond, but build emotional safety one brick at a time. I always use this analogy of the lotion bottle. You know how when we put lotion on, we squeeze and we end up putting too much lotion on our hands, and we end up having to give some to our spouse or our significant other or our child because we squeeze too much lotion. Like, just press gently, ease into, sharing. Learn to receive love and not just give it. Learn to receive love and not just give it. A lot of times we are good at giving love, but we don't know how to receive love. When someone compliments you, don't deflect it. Say thank you. When someone offers help, let them. Receiving isn't weakness. It's allowing someone to care for you the way you care for others. Surround yourself with people who value openness, who listen more than they judge. That's so important. Surround yourself with people who know how to hold space, who listen more than they judge. Emotional walls don't come down overnight, but every small risk toward openness builds a new story. So I want you to comment one small way you'll practice emotional openness this week. I want to hear from you. This is so important. And if this video helped you in any way, I want you to share it. And I'll see you in the next video.